Conditions are sometimes more favorable. Another big thing too is the insects come up over the crop canopy at night. So boy, you can really burn them really well. So that was a big consideration. You can also have one person fly. Used to, you had to have a visual observer, and then now you can have, with the new exemption, you can have just one pilot, no visual observer. So do like a one-man crew. One of these with a one-man crew, I mean, you can, yeah, you can make your entire year in a few months, and then just, you know, chill out and find something else to do for the rest of the year. The other thing is swarming. Now, I don't have any data on this. It's to where you can link more than one controller to, or more than one drone to one controller. So they're saying 3 drones to 1 controller. I don't have enough data with that. I don't have enough to say yes, no, good, bad, whichever. I mean, I know that's going to be the future. Eventually, 5 of these are going to be 5. In China, they use 5 drones to 1 controller, 1 pilot at 50 acres an hour. You're doing more than an airplane. So we both know where this is heading and what's going, and so on and so forth. So anyway, so that's it. Fertilizer. Big thing in our area is I went straight from harvest to spreading Japanese millet for duck hunters. Man, I made good last year doing that. So there's that comes with it. I'm trying to think of, also quick charge cables. So I have a few generators that I usually recommend to say, hey, get these. You can actually use my conversion cables to charge your batteries within about 30 seconds of the same amount of time, but you can also plug in the pumps for your chemicals. And that way you're not lugging around 2 or 3 generators at the same time. So, I'll turn this on, there we go. So anyway, any questions you have directly or anything you're wanting to see specific? Otherwise, I'm gonna run through a quick little spiel here and show you. What's got you thinking about getting into it? Is your dad talking about it and thinking about it, or?
Me and my brother, we looked at them one day and just thought it'd be kind of something cool to get into.
So I've got 2 brothers in Indiana.
I do lawn and landscaping. That's what I
okay.
normally do.
Yeah.
Well, I was kind of wondering if they had smaller drones that are capable of doing like that kind of stuff.
Right.
Instead of buying the Z-Spray that you got to take on and off of the trailer.
Right.
When I got a bunch in the neighborhood, I could just kind of load up and go.
Oh, yeah.
But I kind of see how that could be a problem too.
Yeah. So, I mean, this would be a phenomenal addition. Going one step past that with what you're already doing, there's a drone called a Mavic 3 Multispectral. And with that one, you're able to, you're actually able to, you could use it for your business now because it would do, you know, your multispectral, your topography. You could redo someone's entire land with it. You could do dirt work, laser precision leveling, stuff like that, and those all talk to each other. So, in fact, with that one, with that multispectral, let me show you something really cool with this. So, this is up in Piggott. So, this is 6 acres of rice with umbrella sedge in it. All right, we're like, okay, it's choking out our good rice. We want to get rid of that. So I scanned it with my drone, my Mavic 3 Multispectral, and it put a red dot on every main stem weed in the field. So it says that there were 23,000 weeds in that field. And 6 acres, you're like, holy smoke. So I made a map. All right, let's seek and destroy it. We went out, found those, and problem is every time with the line turns on and off, it's, you know, it's going to be a lot on the pumps. So I finally refined it down to this. Now, as we're going through, it'll turn on, turn off. But once it gets to these salt areas, it stays on, and right there, it just turned off like the left pump. It was weird, I don't know. So anyway, that's something that you can do with that as well. That drone's only $5,000 to add on. So the total package for this one was like $31,500. I do have consulting packages. So if you're getting into this and you've never done much with ag, or if you need help with the business, I've got consulting packages all the way from $4,000 to $20,000. I've got some people that want me, like every time they got a question, they just call me. They get me for 12 months. So I help you kind of set your pricing up, help you with your contacts, make sure you've got all your right legal forms, make sure you've got everything set up. So I've got finance companies that specialize just in drones and stuff like that. So they'll finance in, shoot, whatever you want. The drone, the consulting, the trailer, the generator, whichever you want to finance in. And the rates are usually really good. So anyway, so We will ignore this. I'm going to connect to my hotspot, show you how simple it is. Like if we just walked up to this field here, we're like, hey, we want you to spray this area. How quick, can you get this in the air and get this going? So we're going to do this.
Upward obstacle avoidance enabled.
You can see right there, that's something I've already sprayed or done before. So let's just do a new one here. So we're going to do
Fasten all arm
right
locks securely
there,
to prevent potential safety risks.
right there,
Waypoint
right
added.
there, and right there. So we've got all that. So that tells us that's 0.8 acres. And we've got 4.3 gallons in it. So I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger. Now we're up to 1.7. So if we're gonna put out, 2.5 gallons an acre, that'll be about enough there. And then, so I'm gonna confirm and use it. We'll just save it. We'll use that one. And then we're going to use what's called auto boundary route. So when it gets done, it's gonna go back around and spray and really get a good set edges on us. So right now, if all this looks good, I'm gonna max out my flat speed, maybe. So I'm gonna take us down to about 2.5. And as you can kind of see here, it's gonna tell us where it's gonna run out at there. So right about there, we'll do 2.5. And then we'll do 32. And then route spacing, that's where people will get really, on this one, about 26 or so is gonna keep you from streaking. So we're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna hit start. We're gonna ignore that, confirm nothing's around us. And it kind of is. So this is 28 satellites.
Yep.
Spray system's good, everything here. I'm gonna have this return to home just in case anything goes wrong. I don't want it just to hover in the air and then fall out. So now at this point we have checked. So we are at 28 satellites. Radar system shows good. Spraying system checks. These have a lot of checks that we can go deep into. Calibration, things like that. That's our connection route. How fast it's connecting, and then our altitude. So at altitude, you can put it up to 20, 30 to clear telephone poles, whichever. Return to home. So we're gonna go ahead and hit slide, execute. At this point, this is all itself. So
Stand back at a safe distance.
So at this point, we can launch two ways, either the first person view or this view here, and it's just gonna start dropping down, start spraying. So, and I could have changed depending on wind and whatnot. I could have put different ways for it to, spray directly into the wind, whichever ways we need to modify. So at this point, you can kind of see while it's in the air, I can also change micron sizes, my flow rates, things like that. It does have 12-point collision avoidance on it, so even in the pitch dead, darker night, it's going to pick up and be able to show that we there's something in front of it that would, make it crush.
What's the swath?
Swath width on it, we can dial it all the way down to 7 feet if you want to spray levees. Levees would be a big thing for you. So if you wanted to just go out and advertise, you can spray levees, 200, 250 an hour, go out and manually fly those. Farmers, gosh, you couldn't, you couldn't get to all of them as much as they'd call you. And then, but you can dial all the way up to, it says 32 feet, but you're gonna streak. On the T40, I say 26. On the T50, about 30. So the battery on them will last typically longer, much longer than the tank. Usually after about 6 or 7 minutes, the tanks are gone, and then your battery's gonna have about 30–40% left. So. Kit comes with 3 batteries. You're just using 2. You're just kind of cycling through those. And but yeah, so usually just a total time would be, like I said, be about 14 to 17 minutes, just depending on the weight of it. All right, so we are now finishing that last one, and then we're going to enter boundary route. So that's where it's like, okay, we've got the middle. Now let's go and make sure we are going to go get our edges. All right. And then once it gets done, it'll fly back, land itself, and that's it. So especially, how old's your brother?
23.
Okay, all right. You're
19.
19. Okay. So with that, both old enough to fully run the businesses, fully have all the licenses. I've got two brothers in Indiana. They have two drones. All they spray are ponds.
Yeah.
They spray duckweeds, and they charge $1,500 per pond. Both do 2 a day. Each got their own drone. $3 grand a day each, and they may book themselves out 6-8 weeks, and then they take off in the winters. So just kind of depends on what all you want to do with it. So we are just about done.
And it will come back and set
Mhm.
back down exactly where.
It was. That's right. So, all right. So boom, we're done there. All right.
Task complete.
Here we go. So see, all that's been just self.
So you don't really do, kind of just does it all for you.
So I always keep my controller chest level in case there's a collision or something coming. I can always stop it. But yes, most of the flying is
No
automated.
more liquid
Yeah.
payload. Land and refill.
So you're gonna see this. And once you do that once, all day it'll do that again. Like it'll remember that you said auto land every
No
time
more
now.
liquid payload.
And that's
Land
it.
and refill.
Anyway, so a lot of people ask us like, what's our timelines? What's it going to take to get going? Things like that. So you don't have to do any consulting at all. Like if you just wanted to buy a drone, I could have you one here in 3 or 4 days. You get it. I will give you a list of things that you need to do and things you kind of need to go through. I'll give you all the compliant, all the stuff you need to do. Like, you need to get this type of insurance. You need to get this license. You need to contact this person. So I just don't leave you, out in the open. I'm like, hey man, I want you to be safe and protected. I'll set you up with Jonathan Ruprecht, the aviation attorney, so he can do your stuff too, regardless if you do any consulting with me or not. So that way I just want you to at least have a guide to kind of be able to go through things. But if you wanted to do the consulting part of it, it would take us about 4 to 6 weeks to get you like fully licensed, ready, trained, comfortable, and along the way you're going to be making money there. When your exemptions come back, depending on how quick they take, because the first thing we do is we get the drone, then we send off for your N number, because you have to have a certain number off that drone itself. We send that off. While that's off cooking, I've got you doing your 107, your commercial pilot license. I've got you doing your plant board licenses. I've got you coming with me on my teams, getting some flight time, getting some flight experience, making sure that you're fully trained and ready, going through all the different software training. So it's doing 4 or 5 things at once, and that way instead of just doing one and then waiting, one and then waiting. So that way, because shoot, it's just now, we're in July. I really only shut down with this last year in December and January, and really January was my choice. I really could have worked January because burn down's going to start in January or so. January. Right, so I took off February just for the family. Otherwise, you can run this thing, and I think eventually you're going to run it, pretty much year round. That's kind of my thought for it. If you want, I can send you in an email just a whole bunch of information to where, it'll have like an ROI calculator. It'll have stuff that you can show to your dad to let him show, it's like, hey, this is, if we spray this many acres with fungicides, insecticides on this crop, you save this much. I'll send you, just all kinds of stuff to kind of go through it.
Because I'm trying to start a business. I kind of want to start one doing this, and then kind of leave my line of landscaping to another guy.
Yeah,
That still may be the owner and all.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Get you multiple revenue streams, and then these two things can help each other, and then so, man, that's
Even though
smart.
both in the summer.
Yeah, dude, man, at 19, that's a genius. That's hey, if you got your brother to help you too, and because really this
He
job.
works at the steel mill, but if I bought one of these,
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then shoot, I've got a guy named Paul now, and he's almost here. It'd been funny if he'd been here. He just retired from the steel mill, and now this is what he's doing. So He just bought a full package, trailer, everything, to a full setup to start going because, I mean, with these, you're looking at easily 6 figures with these to do the contract. Spraying terminal crops, yeah, you'll do good. Man, doing the city, the state, the county contracts, all those things, man, are huge. So getting started with you at such a young age and being able to do this, and there's hardly any operators around in this area, and I mean, there would be so much that you could do with it. But that is it. But yeah, I got you got my cell phone number. Text me your email, and then I'll probably text you and email you all that information,
Okay.
and then look it all over, and then we can talk again like on Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. All right.
We can do that.
Sound good?
Yep.
All right, boss. Man, you got any questions? You call me, okay?
Will
All right.
do.
Thank you, sir.